everyone, this is Eugene Roddenberry.
Dr. Mohammed Noor.
Adam Nimoy, Leonard Nimoy's son.
This is Leonard Crowfoot.
This is Dr. Aaron McDonald, Star Trek Science Advisor and Lieutenant Commander McDonald on Star Trek Prodigy.
And you're listening to
Humanist Trek.
Humanist Trek.
You're listening to Humanist Trek.
the Humanist Trek podcast.
And you're listening to Humanist Trek, a fabulous, fabulous show.
Enjoy.
And don't worry, you can do your Temporal Mechanics 101 homework later.
Riker is still pissed about this violation. How dare you violate me?
Oh, my sperm. No, it wasn't really his. Oh, his DNA.
His
really.
DNA.
It wasn't his.
Yeah.
See, I would have just taken his sperm.
Yeah, you would have.
Oh my.
Do you need to wash your feet, Allie?
God damn, my feet are dirty.
Perhaps I could use this as an excuse to go to those far-off planets with little polka-dotted people if necessary, and be able to talk about love, war, nature, God, sex, all those things that go to make up the excitement of the human condition.
This is Captain Jean-Luc Picard.
Welcome aboard.
Jean-Luc Picard to the Starship Enterprise.
You want to review your rapid progress?
That nonsense is centuries behind us. To the Starship Enterprise.
Oh, yeah?
That is enough, damn it!
Tempo, mon capitan.
To the Starship Enterprise.
But you can't deny that you're still a dangerous, savage child race.
Of the planet Earth.
You just don't get it, do you, Jean-Luc? That is the exploration that awaits you. Not mapping stars and studying nebula, but charting the unknown possibilities of existence.
Jolon True, and welcome to Humanist Trek. It's a comedy Star Trek podcast about the humanism in Star Trek. I'm Sarah Ray.
And I'm Allie Ashmead.
And don't adjust your dials. I do sound a little different this week.
Yeah.
A little bit. What's going on with you, Allie? Anything new? Anything exciting? How you doing?
I'm okay. Nothing exciting. I don't know. This time of year is apparently my favorite because I don't know what it is. I feel it makes me so happy. Mm-hmm. I just feel really happy. It's fall, instead of doing spring cleaning in the spring, I'm doing it in the fall. And I don't know. I talk to my neighbors more and I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Just love it. And then I was summoned to by the great judicial system of Denver, Aurora, to be on a selection, whatever you call it. I've been called for jury duty, basically.
Oh, no. I'm so sorry. Well, there's two types of people in the world, I guess. There are some people who love and enjoy, like really want to go do it and be part of the system.
Those people like to judge people. You know what I mean? I'm not looking forward to it, but I know it is a part of, our responsibility.
Mm-hmm.
I remember maybe like 20 years ago was the only time I ever got summoned back in Jacksonville. And I was so sad that I didn't get selected. I was like, I want to be selected. And then I didn't get it. And now I'm like, I really don't want to be selected. So
right. A similar, something happened to me when we were in Florida too. We moved like every 2 years after I moved to Florida. So I started in Winter Haven in Polk County.
Mm-hmm.
And then I moved to an apartment just behind Disney, which was in Orange County. And like months after I moved, I got a thing in the mail that was forwarded calling me to jury service in Polk County. Well, I don't live in Polk County anymore, so I didn't qualify. And then a couple years later, I moved from Orange County to Lake County, and we were in Davenport, and I got one for Orange. Yeah, yep. And then we moved from Lake to Polk, back to Polk, and got another one. It was the damnedest thing. And then the only other time I've gotten one is here. I got one here several months ago. And
did you go?
No, I didn't get. My number wasn't called.
So did you appear and then they didn't call you, or how does that work?
Up here was call the phone number the night before and see if your number is in the range.
Okay, gotcha. Oh, all right.
And thankfully, it was not.
So maybe I don't have to go. It's going to be in a few weeks, so I'll know in a few weeks.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
What's going on with you?
Those of you who may have noticed a difference in the audio this week, we're moving, and I tore the studio down. Allie, I sent you some pictures this morning. I got all the curtains off the wall. So there's no baffling for the audio reflections. So I have to have the noise gate cranked up way high,
Yeah.
which means I have to like eat the microphone here. Just so that echo won't drive me nuts, because it will.
It's crazy that those little things make such a difference.
Yeah. Yep. And then last night, my son and I built a crate, like Indiana Jones warehouse style crate.
Oh, nice.
For the tabletop. And those of you who haven't heard this story, because I had worked in radio and was trying to rebuild sort of that studio setting, I went to an actual like broadcast furniture production company that hand makes these desks and whatnot to your specifications. And so I built myself a $4,000 studio desk that had, rack space for all the equipment and cable management and all of the things.
Nice.
And it is gigantic and heavy as fuck. So we built a crate, put it in the crate, and of course the crate's made out of wood, so now it's like 3 times as heavy as it was to start with. But we're gonna put it in storage. We got a storage unit. We're moving shit out to storage. The goal is to take pictures of the property this coming weekend and get it on the market, and then we'll see what happens from there.
Like, hopefully things will be good.
Yeah. Well, we did line up a rental property, so we have a place to go. We don't have to worry about that.
Good.
We got approved, and we have a start date, and all of that is in process. So then we just have to get it the fuck out of here. We got a couple of plans for that, but it's going to be a lot of trips back and forth. But the good thing is there will be overlap between when our lease starts and whenever we end up closing on the house or whatever we end up doing with it. So we can move shit from here directly to the new place and not have to like touch things twice.
Yeah.
Moving stuff to storage.
That's good. That's good. Is it far? Is it pretty close to where you are now?
Not really. So we're in Brighton now. It's in Commerce City.
Mm-hmm.
So it's only like 6 minutes from my son's school.
Okay.
Right now we're like 6 minutes from our daughter's school and still about the same distance to my school. So not too crazy.
Cool.
So yeah, things are looking up. The rent is like $1,000 less than our mortgage after being reduced. So it's $1,500 cheaper than what our mortgage originally was. So hopefully that will allow us to like get our shit caught back up and get the credit cards paid off again and reset and restart.
Awesome. Everybody needs to be able to reset and restart every once in a while, right?
Yeah. Set the ball on the tee for me. Pop! But if you're going to reset and restart, you might also need some help. And so I'm thinking about that big fucking studio tabletop thing that you, me, and Bruce are going to have to lug around. And wouldn't it be great if we could just clone ourselves and have our clones move all of my shit for us?
Yeah, that'd be amazing.
Yeah.
Send in the clones.
Well, send in the clones this week on Star Trek The Next Generation, Season 2, Episode 18, Up the Long Ladder.
Commander, you'll soon be getting an intruder alert.
What? I've got something, sir.
Intruder alert, sir. It's an old-style starship, sir. Constellation class, heading this way under impulse com.
Number 1, kindly take charge of our guests until we have time to decide what we're going to do with them. Sir, number 1, keep them out of my way.
This episode starts on the bridge with some suspense music immediately setting the tone.
Very weird, creepy music.
Yeah.
And immediately we're like, oh, what's going to happen?
And up on the horseshoe, Worf looks like he's about to blow chunks.
I was like, that look he had on his face, he looked like he was about to have explosive diarrhea at any second. Because you know how like when you've eaten, maybe he ate some bad gawk or something.
Yeah.
And you know what it feels like. Them stomach cramps hit you and you got bubble guts and you like, oh no, oh Lord. That's what he looked like. He looked like he was about to just shit his pants right then.
I haven't heard you say bubble guts in a long time.
Everybody know what I mean?
Picard comes out of the turbo lift and pulls Riker into the ready room for a chat. And then the camera cuts back to Worf looking like he's about to bubble guts all over the place. Oh, poor guy.
He's growling and shit.
Mm-hmm.
And nobody's noticing him.
In the ready room, Picard fires up Winamp.
Winamp. It really whips the llama's ass.
And he plays a file for Riker, which Riker very easily picks up is like, this is some kind of SOS call, which we're told it took a Starbase research team hours to figure out. Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's some sort of distress beacon, and it was detected last month. Kicked in without any warning, and it's Terran, or what that means is Earth. It's from Earth. It's an Earth code, anyway.
It's an old code, but it checks out. Crickets. Star Wars joke.
Sorry.
But this whole thing is quite the mystery because this signal is coming from a sector where there's no record of any Earth colony. The computer tells us that this code was used between 2123 and 2190 by the European, and they pronounce it hegemony?
No.
But it's hegemony, right?
So they pronounce it hegemony.
Hegemony.
Distress beacon used by the European hegemony.
Hegemony. They pronounce it hegemony.
With a hard G.
And I thought I was wrong. Hegemony is what I've always called it.
But New
Hegemony.
Star Trek talks about the Gorn hegemony.
Right. Hegemony. It's a soft G, like GIF and GIF. We're going to have an argument. Is it G? Is it like GIF or is it GIF?
So anyway, this European group was a short-term alliance that started Earth towards a one-world government, dragging the right-wingers kicking and screaming, I'm sure.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, off to find our lost sheep. But back on the bridge, Worf has succumbed to the Klingon constipation and passed out hard on the floor.
They call for Pulaski to the bridge. He is passed the fuck out.
Damn it, who's out there? Lost sheep. Let's go see if we can find them.
In sickbay, Worf is insisting he's fine, but Pulaski's like, no, you're not. You're not fine. You fainted. And here we get another Klingons as a monolith moment. Roll it.
Captain, Klingon battlecruisers headed toward this sector.
Battle alert, Mr. Crusher.
Klingons. Klingon attack cruiser decloaking up the starboard bow.
Hello.
They are hailing us.
This is the Klingon vessel Matar.
In all my dealings with Klingons, including our Lieutenant Worf, the thought never occurred to me of Klingons laughing.
There is much about us you do not know. Klingons do not express feeling the way you do.
Klingons do not faint. Klingons do not give in to illness. It is inappropriate for a Klingon to receive family while on duty. Klingons appreciate strong women. Klingons do not pursue relationships. They conquer that which they desire. I am not concerned with pleasure, Commander. I am a warrior. I am a Klingon! If you doubt it, a demonstration can be arranged. Klingons do not allow themselves to be probed.
Well, Klingons don't faint, but she gives him the technical term for what happened is basically you suffered a dramatic drop in blood pressure, your glucose level dropped, and there was a deficient blood flow resulting in circulatory failure, and you basically curled up your toes and fucking passed out. But he's like, don't insult me.
Like maybe she was trying to make a joke and it just didn't land. I don't know.
No. I don't know.
Or is she just trying to offend him?
I don't know.
Because it's been a few episodes since she's done that. Turns out Worf has Rapach Ingor, the Klingon version of the measles. And Worf is clearly bothered by this. It's a childhood disease in Klingons, and he's super embarrassed about it.
How do you get the measles if you're not around anyone with the measles?
Excellent question.
You just don't, it doesn't just appear,
Mm-hmm.
but whatever.
Yeah, one little line about, oh, you must have picked it up, last week when we were visiting this blah, blah, blah colony or starbase or whatever.
That would have satisfied me perfectly, but nothing.
So then Pulaski, I guess, makes up for her insulting attempt at a joke or whatever earlier when Picard calls to check up on Worf, and she lies to protect Worf's dignity. She tells Picard that Worf is just doing some weird Klingon fasting ritual thing. Nothing to worry about.
Yep. And Worf is super, super thankful for her.
But is the Klingon measles contagious? And is it contagious to non-Klingons? And I need to know more about this disease. We don't quarantine him. We just go on about our business.
No. Yep. In the ready room, Data comes in and he's talking about this problem of this missing ship. And again, there's no record or anything of anyone going to the ficus sector. But then he has an idea of maybe let's check the manifest. And why, when Picard was asking the computer about it, why didn't that come up? Why?
Great question.
Why didn't she just say, here's the manifest?
Mm-hmm.
Because there was obviously a record of someone going to the ficus sector. So anyway.
Again, have you ever asked Alexa for anything complicated? She ain't great.
I don't talk to her. I don't really talk to her.
And also, normally, Data would have already looked this up and have come into the ready room with the documents. Mm-hmm. Hey, I had this idea, so I just went ahead and did the research, and here is the manifest.
I Googled it, yeah.
But instead, we leave Picard to do the Google search. And there we discover the SS Mariposa, commanded by Captain Walter Granger, loaded 27th November 2123 and headed for the ficus sector. And this sends Data off on an acetaminophen tangent. Did you see the meme that's going around now that says, don't call me autistic, I'm an acetaminophen American?
I'm an acetaminophen, I'm a Tylenol American.
Oh my God.
That's hilarious.
He finds that that mariposa is the Spanish word for butterfly. Well, that doesn't seem to really have any relevance here, but Picard says you can learn a lot about people by digging through their suitcases. And so this group took a bunch of Packard Bell computers, some satellites, some cell phone towers, 50 spinning wheels, and Data goes down another acetaminophen trail.
And he's doing that. He's talking to himself about what would they need 50 spinning wheels for. And of course, Picard's still rattling off while Data's talking to himself. He's rattling off the other stuff in the manifest, like cattles and chickens and pigs and livestock. Why would anyone carry an insane mix of cargo?
And they're talking over each other. And so finally, Picard is like, Data, shut up. Okay, so Picard asks Data for a quick history lesson, and we learn that in the early 22nd century, Earth was recovering from World War III. It seems like we're on track for that. Doing pretty good here.
Maybe earlier than 2123.
Yeah. He also mentions a popular philosopher of the time, Liam Dagan, founder of the Neo-Transcendentalists, who wanted to return to a simpler life. That sounds like right-wing America right now. And Picard then just assumes that the people who left on this ship must have been from that group, which seems like a jump to me. But essentially, we just don't have enough information to really know anything. And this, Allie, was the moment that I remembered what this episode is, and am pretty sure I know the answer to the Starfleet Academy Cadet Challenge question now, which was, what did people write in about, pissed off about this episode? Oh. And it's the negative depiction of the Irish.
Oh, and I totally get that because I was rolling my eyes all over my head because of all the stereotypes.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, and I had remembered the Irish stereotypes, but I had not remembered that it was connected to this other colony in any way. That was like, oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, back in sickbay, Worf has returned with a little token of thanks for Pulaski keeping his secret, the Klingon tea ceremony. And this isn't just any old tea time. Like most things Klingon, This is a test of bravery because the tea is deadly to humans and not exactly great for Klingons either.
Pulaski is incredibly honored that Worf would include her in this, and he's surprised that she knows about the ceremony. She does understand like the externals, but she's, not the mystery of it because she's not a Klingon. And he tells her, well, the tea is poison. You can't drink it. But she's like, well, it's not too good for Klingons either. And it's a reminder that death is an experience best shared, like the tea. She calls him a romantic. She puts the flowers in the cups and does that's whatever. And then she goes and she gets herself a hypo spray and injects herself with it. And she's given herself the antidote. So
bottoms up.
Yep. And she's like, quote me a little bit of that poetry. I feel like she's like into this.
Mm-hmm.
And this is kind of when she starts to get not as annoying.
Yeah.
And so
yeah. It's a real close to the end of the season for her to be becoming a likable character enough to stay. So we know that. But she's like, whoa, Worf, who knew you were such a romantic? And Worf's like, well, Klingon women growl and throw things. Klingon men recite love poems. The D arrives in the Ficus system, and Data determines that the star in this system is experiencing severe flare activity, likely the cause of the distress beacon. And they find that the fifth planet is Class M, and there are human lifeform readings several meters below the surface. But despite having a bunch of computers and tech stuff on the manifest, there's no signs of that anywhere on the planet. There's no artificial power, no comms, no nothing.
The stellar flares are apparently pretty bad, and they're going to brush the planet in about 3.5 hours. It's a solar flare.
Yeah.
Like, we have solar flares all the time. Like, why they're thinking it's going to be really dangerous and they need to evacuate people. They're living underneath the surface. I'm guessing, what is the danger? Why do we need to evacuate?
And how, if they don't have any technology, how the fuck would they know or be able to send this beacon? I mean, the beacon must have been theirs. They kept one beacon.
That's a good point. A month ago.
Yeah.
And I don't think they ever, oh gosh, that's a good point. I don't think they ever addressed that.
So they discuss beaming these people aboard, and Troy is like, hang on, guys. These people have been isolated for 300 years. You know that one island on Earth where back in the 20th and 21st centuries, dipshit Christian missionaries would try to infect the isolated people there with their religious bullshit, and they'd get like an arrow through their skull or something for their troubles? Yeah, these people might be like that. Maybe we don't just want to like roll up and beam them out of their homes.
Hey, but in normal Picard, Riker, Enterprise fashion, let's go down and get them.
So time passes, and Riker has made contact, and Picard calls to check in. There's about 200 people, all in good health, it seems, but Riker's having some kind of trouble with the colony's leader, and he's trying to explain to Picard what's up, but Picard's like, there's not time. Whatever the problem is, just beam up and we'll deal with it here.
He tried to tell him.
A little foreshadowingly, Riker says, all right, we're on our way. All of us. In the transporter room, O'Brien beams up the first round, and this is such a cheesy, campy TOS moment. The Irish music starts jamming as some people, plus their barnyard animals, and a whole pile of hay materialize on the pad.
Yeah, and it's very, they play the Irish music. I mean, it is so stereotype heavy, and I just wanted to puke.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. This is some real, like, old school 1960s TOS bullshit they're pulling.
But you gotta love O'Brien because his face, he doesn't have to say shit. His face does all the acting for him, and with the smirk and the holy shit look on his face, and he calls down to the captain. And it's like, you better get somebody up here right away. What are we gonna do with all these animals? I'm thinking.
I'm fine.
You're not fine, you fainted.
I did not faint. Klingons do not faint.
Excuse me, I'll rephrase. This Klingon suffered a dramatic drop in blood pressure. His blood glucose level dropped. There was deficient blood flow resulting from circulatory failure. In other words, he curled up his toes and lay unconscious on the floor.
Doctor, there is no need to insult me.
There's like lots of hustle and bustle on the transporter pad, what to do with the pig. And then I think as Captain Picard and Worf are coming down the corridor, the the door to the transporter room opens and a chicken flies out. And then a little girl, another one of his things that he hates the most, a child comes and gets the chicken. I know. But he's wondering what in the hell is going on here.
Back in the transporter room, one of these colonists comes up to O'Brien with a flask in his hand, and he's like, "O'Brien, is it? I knew there had to be a good Irishman running this ship." And as Picard and Worf come in, O'Brien's like, Frenchman with a British accent, actually. I know, it's a whole thing.
Yeah. Good point.
This feller is Danilo O'Dell, played by Barry Ingham, who came up in British TV. He played Prince Paris on Doctor Who.
Oh.
And Alidon in the 1965 Doctor Who and the Daleks.
Oh, cool. Now I have to go back and watch that.
In the 80s, he made the rounds on American TV classics, and he also did voices on The Great Mouse Detective.
I didn't watch it. Shame on me. Did you watch it?
No, The Great Mouse Detective, that I saw as a kid, yeah, but I mean, it's been a million years.
Mm-hmm.
O'Dell lights up Picard for just making decisions on his behalf. This is clearly the leader of these people with whom Riker had been arguing. But when he notices Worf, he's sort of like put back in his place. What the fuck are you?
Picard wants to know why all these fucking animals around. And O'Dell's like, well, we can't leave without all of our animals. We're not going to leave them to die. How are we going to build our future? So Picard's like, get all these people to Cargo 7 and make sure that the rest of them go directly to Cargo 7. We can't have all this hay flying around.
And the best part of this happens several times in the episode. Picard tries to leave. He's halfway down the hallway, and O'Dell runs out the door chasing after him. And he thinks Picard must just be really well off to be in charge of such a ship like this. And he immediately starts trying to marry off his daughter. He's
like, are you married? Well, I have a daughter. Would you be interested? And Picard quickly says no. But that's another stereotype is that they're always concerned about money and what other people have, and then how can they get some of it, and then marrying off their daughters and stuff. Grown.
Picard has gathered the team in the conference room. Total colonist count 223, but Pulaski notes there will be 2 more born very soon. But before they could really get into any kind of conversation here, the fucking fire alarm goes off in the cargo bay, so they all scatter off to take care of shit. And when Picard and the gang arrive down in the cargo bay, O'Dell is like, blimey! Like, the racist Irish shtick is just so fucking deep in this episode.
Yeah.
Lightning bolts fell from the sky. Like, okay.
It's bad, but yeah. And this is, I think, the first time Riker referred to them as the Bring Lloydie.
Yeah.
Bring Lloydie.
Yeah. So is that the planet or the system, or that we didn't talk about that until this very moment?
The Bring Lloyd is the name of the planet.
Yeah.
But then they call them the Bring Lloydie.
Yeah. Anyway, Worf explains the force field system that puts out fires by allowing it to burn up all the oxygen. And for a bit of comedy, O'Dell asks, what if I had been under that force field? And Worf is like, then you would have been standing in fire. And O'Dell's like, okay, wise guy. No, but really, assuming that, what would have happened to me? And Worf's like, well, you would have suffocated and died. And while this bit of dialogue plays out, we also get a good look around the cargo hold, and these people seem to be moving right on in. Hay all over the floor, animals in these small wooden fence enclosures, and finally, Brenna, Danilo's daughter, who is PISS because they didn't offer them any food, and when she tried to start a fire to cook some food, And I quote, "The place goes mad."
She is gorgeous, and of course, Riker's swing. You know, Riker goes.
Mm-hmm.
But she is like a firecracker. She's bossing people around, and again, another stereotype of Irish women. You know, you don't offer us a bite of soup, and we're about to build a fire to cook a little something. The place goes mad. And she's just full of piss and vinegar and ready to order people around. And Riker just stared at her.
Mm-hmm. Brenna is played by Rosalind Landor, who came up as a child actor and attended the Royal Ballet School. She does not have a ton of like standout credits that shit that I watched, but she got into voice acting later on and did a voice in the Real Ghostbusters cartoon, which I've mentioned I watched religiously as a child.
Did not watch it.
She did voices in several Kingdom Hearts video games and several characters in the 2024 Doctor Who podcast series. Have you listened to any of those? I know you're a Whovian.
I am a Whovian, but I haven't listened to any podcasts.
I did not even know they were doing podcast series.
Me either.
Anyway, you're right. The more angry this lady gets, the harder Riker's dick gets. And she's like, "What the fuck do you think you're looking at? Haven't you ever seen a woman before?" And Riker's like, "I will do you on the hay-covered floor right now while everyone watches."
He would. Totally would. He is ready to share some DNA.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, Danilo presents her. This is my daughter.
She rushes off to take care of some business.
What sort of business do you suppose he is getting down to?
Hungry children and women to look after.
Here's another one of those weird moments that made me question the whole, how did we set off a beacon if we don't know technology?
Mm-hmm.
Odell asks how the ship sensed the fire, and Picard starts to explain, well, the computer does blah, blah, blah. And Odell is like, computer, what's that?
Yeah. When they read over the manifest, those computers went somewhere, but obviously not with them.
Yeah. So was it the other colony that set the beacon off, and we don't really know that?
Maybe. And you know what? I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah. Well, there's another wonderful Irish stereotype here. Again, like Brenna cuts them off. They're talking about whatever, and Brenna comes back and cuts them off and just nagging them about how, oh, the men are always talking when there's work to be done, and you know, you're off drinking all the time and drunken Irish, blah, blah, blah. And like, Picard, shouldn't you be flying the ship or whatever it is your job is? Like, just stereotype on stereotype on stereotype.
Right. And they don't seem to be, like, if I was kidnapped by aliens or taken into a ship up in the sky and I'm primitive, I would be just in wonder. But they're just like, get on with it. Get on with the business.
Yeah.
You know?
So Riker decides he's going to stay and give her some help. He's like, this bitch clearly hasn't had an orgasm in 300 years. Maybe that'll chill her the fuck out. So he goes over to where she is on the ground cleaning up, which just is brushing hay around. And he tells her, hey, you don't have to do that. The ship cleans itself, which is also good because I was wondering which of the UC lower decker red shirts were going to be assigned to the honey bucket.
What's the honey bucket? Because
that's the follows the horse around.
For the shit?
We had, yes. Yeah. At the Magic Kingdom, we had the horses. And the team that came behind them pushed a R2-D2 bucket. It was called the honey bucket. That was
what? Pardon the pun, but what a shit job. Oh, what a horrible job. She's staring at him. She's taking him in finally. She's and then she stands up. She raises her skirts to show her feet and legs.
She says, "Are you into feet?"
He's like, as a matter of fact.
Yes. Where's a girl wash her feet around here? And Riker's like, your kink is not my kink, but I'll try anything twice.
That's what they're calling it these days. I need to go wash my feet.
Picard and Worf are walking down the hallway, and Worf is talking about how Brenner reminds him of a Klingon woman. And here we go again. Odell comes running down the hall chasing after him again. And he's like, hey, I forgot to ask you guys, but have you heard anything from the other colony? Picard's like, shit, you mean there's more of you people?
And what are you staring at? You never seen a woman before?
I thought I had.
So they've reviewed the star charts, and there's another M-class planet that's only a little bit of ways from the Bringloid system. So that it's the system.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Meanwhile, Riker brings Brenna back to his very darkened apartment.
Yeah.
And she loses her fucking mind over how messy the place is.
Look, it's bugging me, the whole, I've got to clean up after a man and I've got to take care of him and everything. And she starts like cleaning his, like, stop. Ugh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and we've never seen Riker to be a messy housekeeper before. Like, this was all in service of a racist stereotype.
Exactly. He didn't have hay all over his fucking apartment or his room. So, like, I don't get why she thinks it's messy. Whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever.
This is all in service of setting up that Riker can tell her, I understand why your dad is in such a hurry to get rid of you, because maybe then he'll have some peace and fucking quiet. She's like, you've shown me many things, but I'm still waiting to wash me feet. And Riker points her to his bathroom, and she's like, no. I mean, I need to wash my feet. Wink, wink, and drops her skirt to the floor.
Jesus.
Oh my.
She gets right to the point. He's like, oh, I get it. Oh, yeah. Oh, and he plays coy. He's like, oh, is there a technique to this foot washing? And she's like, well, you start at the top and work your way down. And then, they kiss, and Riker's being Riker.
Yep. And we get one short shot outside the hallway as you hear the bed frame slam up against the wall over and over again. Back in the cargo bay, Odell and some of the men have set themselves up a homebrew contraption, and he's called for Worf because he needs to create some heat without setting off the fire alarm again. And Worf's like, why don't you just get booze from the food dispenser? And apparently O'Brien already offered some synthahol, but these guys want all the deleterious effects of real alcohol. So Worf leads them over to the replicator, which we're still only calling food dispensers at this point. But okay. Yeah, I didn't realize that lasted this long into the series.
Yep.
Where he orders in almost a TOS Scotch whiskey sort of voice. Takes a sip, is not impressed. And so Worf orders up some Klingon booze.
Check. Oh, shoot. I can't pronounce it. I forget. Check. Toulouse.
Gesundheit.
Toulouse.
And we see that classic metal blood wine cup that the Klingons always drink out of. And there's like a smoke.
A little bit
billowing.
of dry ice.
Yeah.
For the smoke effect.
Odell takes a swig of this, and we get a fun little 1940s style cartoon kind of reaction.
Now that's what I call a wee drop of a creature. I'm sorry, that's Scottish. Damn it. Anyway.
I don't do either one very well, so. Apparently, getting her guts wrecked wasn't enough to chill Brenna out because she comes ripping in, screaming for her father and chewing his ass out about his drinking.
Yep. She's like, are you drunk yet? And she wants him to talk to Dr. Pulaski about the children because Pulaski wants to put them in school with the other ship kids. And he's drunk, but he asked her what she thinks. She thinks it's a good idea. So but she wants him to go handle it. And she starts bossing him around, even Worf. And
how dare you teach these men to get liquor from the wall?
Right. That's all they need. And he's like, ma'am, have you considered a career in security? Because he's really, I have the feeling he really likes it. They like women like that.
Oh, yeah. Meanwhile, we're approaching the other Class M planet, and right away they get a phone call from Wilson Granger, Prime Minister of Mariposa.
So they have technology because they sense that they're in orbit and they call them before Picard calls them.
Yeah. And Granger, that's a name we've heard before. He says he's not exactly a descendant of Captain Granger, but he thought maybe something terrible happened on Earth when nobody came to check on them. So Picard explains that you just kind of slipped through the cracks. Sorry about that, but we're here now, and they arrange a visit. But Troy, again, urges caution. He's hiding something.
And then they just say, okay, noted. And then off they go to beam down. Like, did you hear her? Did you fucking hear her?
So Riker, Worf, and Pulaski beam down to be greeted by a familiar face with a slightly different name. This is Victor Granger, Minister of Health. And both Grangers are played by John DeVry, a Broadway performer and television actor who appeared in Ryan's Hope, Miami Vice, Law and Order, and at least one appearance on each of the big soaps.
Yeah. So they look alike. The guy that they talked to on the communicator was Granger, and then this guy is also Granger. They're like twins, brothers. And second Granger, he's like, well, the Prime Minister can explain why your arrival is just so serendipitous. And then as they're walking through the halls, they see the like three women who all look the same, and they're like, triplets? And okay, there's something going on here. And then another woman walks by that's a twin of the other three that they just saw. So yeah, something's weird.
So Granger asks if Pulaski's doctorate is scientific or medical, and seems pleased to hear that it's medical. But again, he won't tell Pulaski if there's any issue going on here. I'll leave that to the Prime Minister to explain. And then he goes back to pick up Riker and Worf, who were clearly hanging back for too long.
Because women, Jesus Christ, Riker, rein it in.
Riker and Worf are like, there's two of us and four of them.
And I got two dicks. You got one.
Yeah.
Like, rein it in. Well, while the other Granger guy disappears to go get them, she's kind of doing a scan of this other, like, attendant guy, secretly doing a scan. So once Worf and Riker catch up with him, they go into Granger's office, the Prime Minister, and she introduces herself, and he introduces his chief of staff, some other woman that's also a twin. And then she gets right to the fucking point. She's like, is your entire population made up of clones?
Record scratch, tire squeal, clones?
Clones.
Clones.
Clones. Everybody says clones. And then, of course, the Austin Powers. You've seen the Austin Powers, right? Remember?
Yeah, I don't like Austin Powers.
Oh, when she... it's so cheesy.
Dr. Catherine Pulaski, tell me, is your entire population made up of clones, Prime Minister?
Clones.
Clones? Clones.
Prime Minister Granger has beamed aboard the D, and in the conference room, he explains what had happened here was because of some damage to their ship, only 5 colonists survived, and they were scientists, of course, and because 2 women and 3 men are only a sufficient gene pool in the Bible, but not the real world, they turned to cloning. Pulaski's like, but how did you keep everybody from fucking? Because obviously they would just be incapable of resisting acting on their natural sex drive, and because sex is only for procreation. Anyway, abstinence apparently, and 300 years later, he says the idea of sex is disgusting to them.
So they don't want to fuck each other, and they would just rather clone themselves. But then there's the problem is replicative fading. A copy of a copy of a copy is basically does something to the DNA and it degrades.
Picard asks, how can we help? And what they're looking for is an infusion of fresh DNA from the crew of the D.
Immediately, Riker says no. Like, are you kidding? You're the one who's spreading your fucking DNA to everybody. But then when someone asks for it that isn't a woman or isn't between a woman's legs, you say no. Which is so it was crazy to me. He's like,
this is what I wrote. Riker's like, listen, if you have a hot daughter, I might fuck her. and it wouldn't be the first time today. But no way in hell will I let you clone me. Yeah,
I know.
exactly.
Like,
exactly.
are you kidding me?
Riker says one of himself is unique, maybe even special, but hundreds of Rikers? He thinks that diminishes him somehow.
Why couldn't they just take his sperm and then inseminate one of the female clones instead of like cloning another? Like, it doesn't make any sense. Whatever.
Yeah. Granger is clearly surprised by this, and Picard warns him that pretty much all of the crew are going to feel this way. So Granger says, well, if you won't jizz in a cup for me, will you at least send somebody down to fix our broken equipment? And Picard agrees to this, assigning Riker.
Riker calls LaForge to get a technical support team ready, and then Pulaski talks about, well, even if we repair your equipment, it's still not going to help. But she still wants to go down, too, just to see, what's going on. She's never had a chance to study replicative fading. So she just wants to watch their misery because she's like, there's nothing I can do to help you.
On the planet, Riker and Pulaski go into Granger's office to report that the repairs are almost finished, and again he asks if they would reconsider being cloned, and when they again refuse, they are stunned by a man in the corner with a heater and dragged off into a side room. And just in time, too, because Geordi comes in looking for him, and Granger tells him that he hasn't seen him. Do you think Geordi's visor would be able to detect recent energy weapons fire?
I would think so. Especially since it was literally just seconds before he entered. And yeah,
I've never thought about that before, but in this moment on this rewatch, I thought,
But they lie to him and basically, haven't seen him. Sorry.
Cut to the lab where there's some intense background music playing, where Riker and Pulaski are laid out unconscious on tables, having massive needles jammed into their abdomens.
And then I guess some time passes later because now they're all back on the ship in Pulaski's office, and Forge comes in and he's like, hey guys, what happened to you guys? I couldn't find you. And they're like, what are you talking about? Geordi says, every time I asked where you were, some clone lied to him. And he's like, how do you know they're lying? And this is when we find out that he can tell when someone's lying with his visor. So I didn't know that. Only humans though. He can't, it doesn't work on other aliens, but he can always tell when a human's lying.
This is another Troy problem, though. By giving him this superpower, why aren't we using Geordi as a lie detector every episode?
Instead of Troy. And I think that's why he said doesn't work with aliens, humans. Otherwise, we don't want to make her, redundant. We don't want to give her a pink slip. But they don't listen to her anyway. So
the only two lines she ever gets is, you can't trust them, they're hiding something.
I know. And then they don't listen and they go ahead and go down and they don't exercise any caution.
Yeah. A quick tricorder scan reveals that Geordi is fine, but both Pulaski and Riker are missing epithelial cells, the best type of cells to use in cloning.
Why didn't they want Geordi's?
He wasn't in the room when they made that. I guess when he came in, they could have stunned him too.
Yeah, they could have stunned him too.
Huh.
But anyway.
Riker storms out, heading for the cloning lab, and Pulaski and Geordi quickly follow. And when they beam down, they discover two pods, very reminiscent of the cryostasis pods we always see. And when Riker wipes away the frost, he finds clones of themselves forming inside.
They're like jelly people. They haven't fully formed yet, so they're like translucent.
He opens the first container and phasers the clone of himself, and it disappears. Then the second clone, after getting an approving head nod from Pulaski. And then Granger comes ripping in with 3 Lando Calrissians, all with heaters.
Calling them murderers, basically.
Yeah.
But then Riker says, no, you're a thief. But he did take their, stuff without their permission.
But Granger he's basically a desperate man taking desperate action to continue their survival.
Yep.
You want to clone us?
Yes.
No way, not me.
Everybody's in the ready room and they're talking about how desperate the situation is. The fading is gonna that replicative fading is gonna be terminal, and there's nothing that they can do.
Riker is still PISS about this violation. How dare you violate me?
Oh, my sperm. No, it wasn't really his. Oh, his DNA.
His
really.
DNA.
It wasn't his.
Yeah.
See, I would have just taken his sperm.
Yeah, you would have.
Oh my.
Do you need to wash your feet, Allie?
God damn, my feet are dirty.
He wants the lab searched. Maybe there was other tissue samples stolen. And Pulaski agrees, but Troy tries to play a little Mariposan's argument here. They seem alien and maybe even frightening, but these are just humans fighting for their survival. Wouldn't we do the same if we were in their position? But even giving them some DNA is a short-term fix. Pulaski's like, what they need is breeding stock. And the light bulb goes off over Picard's head. The Bring Lloydie. The Irish people down in the cargo bay.
They're breeding stock. Like, again, come on with the stereotypes.
Mm-hmm.
All they do is fuck and drink and, and like animals. Come on.
Yeah. And everybody, like, we go around the room, everybody is excited and eager about setting these people up. Except this is like a blind date matching an evangelical Christian Trump supporter with a socialist Bernie bro.
Yeah.
Good luck.
Yeah.
In the conference room, Picard introduces Granger and Odell, and Granger is like, you're kidding, right? How could we ever integrate that into our society? I mean, just look at him.
I know. Gosh, this is so familiar.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of familiar. But Danilo says, well, you're not quite a catch yourself, so.
And Picard shuts them up by saying, I will not allow posturing and bigotry to destroy this meeting. The only bigotry allowed here is in the writer's room when writing an undeveloped Irish stereotype.
Exactly. Granger's putting up a fight. He's like, you know what? Fine. Destroy yourselves.
And then Pulaski tries to put the whole thing into perspective. She's like, don't worry about it. In 50 years, they'll all die off and we'll have a Class M planet complete with cities and buildings and everything you could possibly need. All we got to do is move some new people into the house. And Granger is still reluctant. I mean, just look how different these people are. But he begins to consider the possibility. And Picard points out that our differences are what has always made us stronger. But Granger's like, 300 years we've denied ourselves carnal pleasures. How can we learn to put that aside?
Like, yeah, the thought of sex just disgusts us. Like,
yeah. And then Odell is like, well, you just put some young people in a room alone and trust me, they'll figure it out. Put some people in a room with Riker and trust me, they'll figure it out. Pulaski says, oh, by the way, for this whole thing to work, you'll have to get everybody on board with polyamory for a few generations. Because even though 30 couples are enough to create a viable genetic base, the broader the better. So at a minimum, you'll want each woman to have at least 3 children by 3 different men. And Odell is like, well, now you're talking.
And Granger's like, oh, that sounds disgusting.
Odell stands up, spits in his hand like a newsie, and holds his hand out to Granger to shake on the deal. And Granger reluctantly shakes his hand. And Odell is like, woohoo, let's go pick out my 3 women.
Yeah.
As the comedic TOS style music cue plays, he adds, send in the clones.
Send in the clones! And Picard's like, I must be out of my mind. And of course, Pulaski agrees. Starfleet would probably agree with him. So in the cargo hold, they got to break the Danilo. I don't know how to pronounce his name. He grabs his daughter and he's like, hey, I need to tell you something. And he takes, so he's already agreed to this on behalf of their people.
Mm-hmm.
And he's going to break the news to his daughter, who probably is going to break his head.
Well, isn't it interesting that at the beginning of this episode, Riker came down and was making decisions on all their behalves, and he was the one arguing back, how dare you come down here and tell us what to do?
Right.
And now he's made the decision and he's telling the rest of them what to do.
But it's also clear that she's kind of running things, but he's still making decisions on her behalf. Yeah.
And so while they're having this conversation off in the corner, Granger marvels at the sight of a very much pregnant woman. And then in disgust as some of the men are laughing. And then he sees the spinning wheel, and there's just this whole like, oh my God, it's a fish out of water. This is not a civilization that I'm used to.
Yeah, I mean, and there's such a stark contrast because he's in all white and clean, and these people are like of the earth, salt of the earth, Irish people, animals and drinking.
And then Brenna comes ripping back out into the main area, screaming at Picard for making some bullshit deal without consulting the people it affects. And besides, she's not sure she wants to be Eve. And he's like, well, you could stay here on the D. We'll drop you off at a star base and you can go wherever the hell you want. But she can't imagine leaving her drunken father.
Okay, Picard tries to appeal to her sort of ego, and she's like, well, these people are going to need your strength and your guidance.
So then that's enough. She turns to look at Granger in the deep background and she says, and what does he do again? Prime Minister? That sounds pretty important. This might be a nice deal after all. And 3 husbands, you say? Well, off we go to the next adventure as she flirts her way across the room to Granger.
Literally. They make them sound so primitive and, I won't say materialistic, but it's all about what do they have to offer,
And Riker's cum is still dripping out of her, and she's ready to go find.
God.
She's ready to go hook up with Granger.
Oh God!
You want this sloppy seconds?
For all we know, she could already have a little Riker in her oven.
That's what I'm saying.
And he's worried about having a copy of him. Please, bitch, you've already what do you call it? Spermiated the galaxy already. It's panspermia. Jesus Christ.
Boy, I'm sure glad that's over with.
I'd be glad to be relieved of this cargo.
Me too.
It is done, and perhaps just as well.
Yeah, but I learned something today.
I sincerely hope that this is the last time that I find myself here.
You just don't get it, do you, Jean-Luc? You see, of all the species, yours cannot abide stagnation. Change is at the heart of what you are. That is the exploration that awaits you. Not mapping stars and studying nebula, but charting the unknown possibilities of existence.
Okay, humanist themes, and I'm going to put mine in a different order because I want a Lower Decks follow-up to this episode where Riker knocked up Brenna during their foot washing, and he's got to come back and meet this child that he never knew he had.
Yeah.
That would be fun.
Well, of course, that's not going to happen because
No,
Lower Decks is gone.
Bullshit.
Gosh. This is about immigration.
Mm-hmm.
This is fucking about immigration and diversity and people mixing together and differences. They're stereotypical, but I guess that's a great way to get the idea across. Is like one society's got all this technology and has everything that looks like it's in place, but then they're suffering because they don't want to have sex with each other. And then this other primitive, they have to bring in this whole group of primitive people. They're, looking down their nose at them, but in actuality, they need them. Like everybody needs each other. And it's all about immigration and diversity.
And you think about all of the different times in our history here in America where the Irish were one of them. Persecuted group coming in as immigrants. And then you look at what's happening today with Mexican immigrants and people from other Spanish-speaking areas of the world.
Other brown people in general. And it's what we don't realize is you take all of those people out of America, you got no culture.
Yeah.
We make up the culture. Everything that America is everybody else's culture. There's nothing on their own.
Yeah, there's nothing distinctly, white American except racism, I guess. Maybe.
Exact. That is the only thing that is really very American.
Mhm.
Otherwise, you got your food.
Yes.
Every restaurant, you got
Yeah.
your food, you got your
Mhm.
culture, you got your music. All the things that we enjoy that make life bearable is from other cultures and other people.
Yep.
So,
Well, and just the racist presentation of these, we America sees itself as the white clad,
oh,
well-to-do, we have the technology, we're holier than thou,
oh
and
man.
these dirty people living off the land are coming in here and, fucking up our perfect society or whatever.
Turking our gerb.
They took our jobs. They took your jobs.
You nailed it. Yeah, America. That white pristine.
America.
Fuck yeah! To say the motherfucking J, yeah.
Oh God.
Yeah.
But again, here we are again, just like TOS, they try to play this for a comedy, and at the time it might have landed,
Mm-hmm.
but like a lot of stuff from back in the day, like even just a couple of decades later, it's like super cringe, like ugh.
Yeah.
That was funny back then because it's not funny. Then there's the topic of cloning.
Mm-hmm.
Riker is concerned that a clone of himself somehow diminishes him. Put a pin in that one.
Oh yeah.
But does it?
It shouldn't. I mean, but it's also about consent. Like
Very much so.
he consented to give his sperm to Brenna, but he's not consenting to give a part of himself to those people.
Yeah.
So.
Yes. Would an exact clone be all that different from having children by sexual reproduction? Like, there are other species that reproduce in other ways
Yeah.
that are not sexually reproducing species. What about being human makes that different? That a clone somehow is a worse way or a lesser way to reproduce.
It's about ego to me. It's about, oh no, there's only one of me. Meh. I would love it. Like,
Fuck
I
yeah.
would love to see another me grow up. Not that they're going to be able to see it, but just knowing that there's another me out there. That'd be kind of
Mhm.
cool.
That would be cool. Yeah. And I think we have to, as the joke was made earlier, we would have to be very careful not to, as we discussed with Guinan before, not to turn this into a race of subservience. If we were to clone ourselves, the joke is, I want to clone myself so they can do all
Yeah.
the shit that I don't want to do. They
Right.
can go to work for me. They can go do the house cleaning. They can move me from one house to another.
Yeah.
While I can enjoy, life as it should be enjoyed.
Right.
That would be something that I think we would struggle against
Yeah.
in human nature.
And you know how we love to categorize people, or
Mm-hmm.
we would see clones as less somehow.
Oh, for sure.
And
Yep.
that would just start another whole thing. So I don't think we should have the ability to clone because of what we would do with it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. We're not even mature enough to handle what's happening with AI right now.
Yeah.
Like, we just rush into the future with things and it never ends up very
And
well.
then we make laws later because we're like, oh, we didn't think about this. And then we just try to force these laws through to make sure we should have thought about all this before AI, when we were on the verge of AI. And we should think, okay, what does this actually mean? We should try to make some laws.
Allie, it sounds like you're trying to, I don't know, what's the word, regulate these things?
How dare I?
How dare you? One thing I wasn't sure how to feel about was how polyamory is presented in this episode. On one hand, I was like, whoa, what a great solution, and nobody really bats their eyes at it. But it's a solution to the genetic problem, and in some ways that feels like it's not a big deal. Nobody really reacts to it like, oh my God, what do you mean? That puritanical bullshit that we carry around of that monogamy is the right way or whatever.
Yeah.
But also the way Pulaski said that monogamous relationships wouldn't be possible for a few generations or whatever. Maybe that felt like she was saying that as if it's the norm.
Yeah.
Like, oh, well, we know you want to be monogamous, but you can't do that for now.
Because it's the survival of the people that it's at stake. When you can enjoy, when your like survival as a people are no longer in danger, then you can just settle down with one person.
Yeah.
But
then the Odells seem to like get with this idea real quick.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, this sounds great.
Maybe they threw that in there, the monogamy in there to appease some part of the audience, because I think it was pretty forward thinking that to introduce polyamory. Like,
oh, for sure.
Back then,
yeah, it's still a taboo idea today. It's becoming more and more accepted.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's still very much sort of a taboo idea.
Yeah. It's mind-boggling to me. Very interesting how, like, as advanced as we are today, that we still reject some things. Like, we're not as advanced as we think. We got all this technology, but our thinking and our old ideas of gender roles and relationship roles are still so antiquated. Why is everything else moving forward, but that isn't?
Well, did anybody die in this episode?
I mean, not really. I don't count the jelly people in the that's what I'm calling them. The half developed clones as viable people. Sorry clones.
And would you say that's because they don't have a consciousness yet, for example? Maybe. As Star Trek has defined personhood in previous episodes?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm sticking with.
So they are sort of fetal in that way.
Yeah. We aborted them. Yeah.
Yeah. And no big fucking deal because they weren't people.
Yeah.
All right, let's take a quick break and wash our feet, and we'll be right back with the Starfleet Academy Cadet Challenge.
Yeah, they're super dirty.
We can handle all the pleasantries later. Now, let's get down to business.
I am willing to pay handsomely for you.
I think you've had a little too much to drink.
Now, what do you know about my money?
Your money?
The money he stole!
You stole his money?
Those vouchers I gave you were every bit as good as Latinum.
You can spend Latinum almost anywhere. Those vouchers are only good at your bar.
And speaking of people whose feet I'd wash, we want to thank our founding admirals for supporting the show at the highest level at patreon.com/humanisttrek. A special thank you to Allie, Peter, Sarah D, Bruce, the Bear and Cured podcast, and some call him Tim. And this week, Allie, we have a new crew member beaming aboard.
Yay! Has he been vaccinated? Does he have his shots? I don't know.
Yeah, run him through the transporter and filter out any abnormalities. A big welcome to Ensign Charles.
Yay! Ensign Charles.
Welcome aboard.
Welcome aboard.
And thank you all again for supporting the show.
Captain, Starfleet Academy is requesting an update on our estimated arrival.
Finalists, please take your seats.
I must admit you have a very fast mind. Once I realized it was a trick question, there was only one answer.
Although only one student will be chosen for the Academy, any of you could easily qualify. Candidates, good luck.
You got called to the superintendent's office. It's a story I'd like to hear.
Becca's back now with the answer to this week's Starfleet Academy Cadet Challenge question. What is the question? Remind us. For Up the Long Ladder.
A particular line in this episode prompted a lot of hate mail sent to the episode writer. Can you tell me what the line or subject matter was?
Okay, the line we didn't get, but we think it was the racist Irish stereotype.
Oh, I bet you, you know what I bet you? It was breeding stock. I bet you. That's what I would, I would be offended if I was Irish and I was referred to as breeding stock. But
what were our guesses from last week?
Sarah said the purpose of human life is to procreate. And Allie said some form of discriminatory language.
And the correct answer is...
Writer Melinda M. Snodgrass received a lot of hate mail from the Right to Life crowd for Riker's line, I have the right to control my body.
I had an opportunity to show the captain my superior capabilities, and I failed. I can never recover from that.
Whoa!
Whoa! Really?
Whoa.
Yeah.
He received hate mail for. That's not.
Wow.
I was thinking that would be justified, but he does.
Right?
He does
Yeah.
have the right to control his body.
Mm-hmm. But apparently.
Well, I ripped on evangelical Christians quite a bit this episode, so this doesn't surprise me at all.
Yeah, we talked about abortion either.
Yes, we did. Yeah. Yeah.
My body, my choice. All right, Riker. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But and sadly, I did rip on him for panspermia, sperminating the galaxy. But at the same time, it is his choice. He should be able to choose if he wants.
Right. And his seed spreading was also consented to.
Yeah.
Brenna was quite happy to receive him.
Yeah. Yeah. And we shouldn't think any different if it was a woman or a man.
Right.
Men or women all should have the ability to consent or not consent. So.
Wow. That blew my fucking mind.
Yeah. Full circle. God dang.
Next week, we'll be reviewing Star Trek The Next Generation, Season 2, Episode 19, Manhunt. In her search for the perfect mate, Troy's mother beams aboard the Enterprise and sets her sights on Captain Picard.
I love it when she's on there.
I do too.
And Picard is so annoyed and tries to get away from her. And I love it.
Yeah, she just brings such a happy chaos onto the ship that just disrupts everything, and I love it. Is this the one where the Ferengi come and abduct her and he has to quote Shakespeare to get her back or something? Because I know that's one we haven't had yet.
I don't know.
I don't know. It ain't got nothing to do with the question, so.
It doesn't matter. Yeah.
No. What's our question for Manhunt?
If talking to oneself is a skill, who did it best in this episode?
Talking to oneself. Was it Picard? No. It had to be one of the Betazoids, so it had to be Majel? You said that Captain Picard had to quote Shakespeare?
I think so. I think that's this one.
Maybe it was Picard. I don't know. I'll say Picard. I have no idea.
Yeah, I think I'm going to join you with Picard.
Yeah.
And if you want to put a guess in the hat, you know how to do that. Head out to your social media, share this episode with the hashtag Starfleet Challenge. You can go to our website and record a message. You can call or text 920-550-TREK. We'll pick out a winner however you send it to us. And next time we'll talk about Star Trek The Next Generation Season 2, Episode 19, Manhunt.
Glory to your house.
Make it so, number one.
Humanist Trek is available wherever you replicate your podcasts. Follow us on all the social medias at Humanist Trek. Become a patron at patreon.com/Humanist Trek. Open hailing frequencies to podcast@humanisttrek.com and visit our website, humanisttrek.com. Humanist Trek is a production of Sarah Austin Media.